Hey guys, welcome back to Jessin Reads Romance. I'm Jessin, and today I'm going to be ranking the Winston Brothers, both the brothers themselves and their books. This series is by Penny Reid, an indie author who writes some really interesting rom-coms. I am in love with a lot of her characters. They're some of my favorite of all time. Now, the Winston Brothers are probably the most popular series that she has, and I thought today we would rank them, and I have to do two separate rankings because I was having such difficulty thinking about how I was going to rank them. So I decided on two, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but yeah, we're ranking all of them. I'm so excited about it and nervous because everyone has their favorites, and I know that a lot of you know who my favorite Winston brother is, but some of you might not, and I want to talk about that. So first of all, let's talk covers, because this one, the first one, Truth or Beard, is the first Winston Brother book that I ever came across, and for me, this cover completely drew me in. I love this outline of this beardy, sexy ginger. First of all, you don't see a ton of gingers on the cover of romance novels, tons of ginger men. But anyway, so I was super intrigued. I love a good beard. I'm definitely in the beard game. Clean shaven just doesn't quite do it for me. So whenever I saw this, I was like, ooh, what is this? This is totally different. I saw it on a BookBub. I saw that this was a romantic comedy. I started this book. I loved it. I read her complete series. I think the first 4 books were out whenever I picked this one up. And then I read her backlist, Knitting in the City, the Hypothesis series. Yeah, I read all of those. Very excited. So let's get into ranking. I feel like I'm stalling, but I do have some written down. It might change as I go. I don't know. So first things first, I'm going to rank the brothers. And this is kind of hard for me because I just love the Winstons as a family, as a whole. As a unit, they're amazing. The camaraderie between brothers and the way that some brothers like to get in other brothers' business. I love that they all kind of live at the homestead, especially in the first novel. They're all living together. Their mother, Bethany Winston, tried to raise her boys as best as she could. They had like a deadbeat dad, and actually one that is not included in this one is Beauty and the Mustache, which is technically a part of the Knitting in the City series. And that's the only Winston sister, so she has a book. And after Penny Reid wrote Beauty and the Mustache, that's whenever the Winston series was born. I don't know how it exactly came about, but I'm sure that she wrote these characters and she was like, wow, as a girl growing up with 6 brothers, I wonder how that was. These brothers are, you know, pulling all kind of shenanigans, especially in Beauty and the Mustache. And it's very funny to read the Winston series and then go back and read Beauty and the Mustache, because she definitely tweaks some characters, especially Billy. Billy in Beauty and the Mustache is not the same Billy as Billy in Truth or Beard and the rest of the book. So I thought that that was an interesting change to witness. I'm so glad I didn't start ranking them yet, because this caught my eye and I meant to grab it before I sat down and started doing this ranking. But I just got in a couple weeks ago this tote bag and has all the Winston brothers on it. I absolutely love these character designs. Penny Reid had the characters drawn up and also their love interest before the final installment of the Winston Brothers, the series finale. And all the brothers are right here in birth order. So we start right here with Jethro. He's the oldest. Billy Winston in his suit. Cletus with the big messy beard, Dwayne and Beau, who are twins, and Beau is the more relaxed of the two. He has his shirt sleeves tied out around his waist, so he's more relaxed. And then we have Roscoe, and he is the youngest. He's so cute. I love him. So anyway, I just love these characters so much, and I want these designs on like all the things. I want it on a coffee mug especially. I want to like wake up and drink coffee with the Winstons, especially since like coffee is kind of like not a big deal in their household, but like Cletus loves to drink like this terrible coffee that nobody else wants to drink. Anyway, I just think it was funny, so I want it on all the things. Penny Reid, please like put it on every product and I will buy it. Okay, let's start ranking them. So first of all, I'm gonna rank the brothers just by themselves. Which Winston Brothers do I love the most? Now, I do want to say there's no Winston brother that I dislike. I like them all. They're all unique, and I don't want to choose between them, but I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. I'm just doing it for fun, okay? So my absolute favorite Winston brother is Cletus Winston. Cletus has the third book in the series, Beard Science, and Cletus is known as this prankster of a sort in the Winston Brothers series. I don't want to spoil too much, but I definitely will say that whenever you meet Cletus, he is a character in Truth or Beard the first time that you ever meet him, if you have not read Beauty and the Mustache. Cletus he's an oddity, he's an oddball, and he does weird things. Like, he's taking a class in high school, math class in high school. He's a grown man. He's one of the Winston brothers that works at the Winston Auto Shop, so he works on cars, but he's taking classes. And like the heroine of Truth or Beard, which is the first book in the series, she's a math teacher. So like he always calls her Miss James because he's her student, and it's just, he has ulterior motives. Like, there's a reason why he's doing it, but you have no idea why. You're just like, what is he doing? He's so weird. But I love him, and he loves to get involved with his siblings' love lives. He loves to meddle, but in a way that he's always pushing them together. He's just like, okay, y'all need to get on the same page. Like, you need to have a conversation. You need to do this. Like, y'all are obviously meant to be together. So I love that he's kind of the matchmaker of the group. He's just so cute, and I love him. And he's the one that has like the unkempt beard. He definitely cultivates his image on purpose. It's just, he has so many layers. He has so many layers. I love Cletus Winston. He is my number one Winston brother. Next, we have Jethro Winston. Jethro Winston is the oldest Winston brother. He has a past. He wasn't always like, I wouldn't say a super nice guy, but he definitely fell in with the wrong crowd. But in his book, he is a park ranger in Green Valley, which is a small town in Tennessee. And he's so spoony, and when he meets the heroine, he's like all for her. And in the later books, he's like the opposite of what you would expect. If you knew his past, you would never predict that this is where he ends up. And God, Jethro's just so sweet, and I love that he was able to kind of shed his past. I don't want to say like shady past, because it wasn't technically shady, but you know, he fell in with the wrong crowd and he turned it around, and I really love it. And of course, he had help from his brothers to get out of that situation. I don't really want to talk about it. I will say that there is a motorcycle gang in this series that is bad news in Green Valley, and their father was a part of this gang. If you read Beauty and the Mustache, the father, Daryl Winston, is definitely in it, and you find out like what happens, and then they do address it in Truth or Beard, so it's not like you miss anything if you just start with Truth or Beard, the first book in the Winston Brothers series. But if you want to get some more background on Daryl Winston and how just horrible he is, Beauty and the Mustache, but it is a tearjerker because Bethany Winston is still alive at that point, and it's very sad. But anyway, okay, let's rank the Winstons. I'm getting way too much into the series for just a rankings video. The next one is Dwayne Winston. This is the first Winston brother I ever came into contact with, and I would say like Dwayne and I have a similar personality. We're more quiet, and it's really funny because he and his twin Bo are like the complete opposites. Bo is the more outgoing one, and Dwayne is just a little bit surly, but he knows what he wants. I love Dwayne, and he's really funny. He has like this hidden sense of humor that you would never expect from him. So I just love Dwayne. The way that he loves his love interest is just so swoony, so swoony. He has so many good lines that I'm just, oh God, it's so good, so good. Then we have the youngest Winston brother. Roscoe Winston is not somebody that we actually see a lot during the early books because he's so much younger and than them. He's off in college. So he's in Nashville in college. We don't see him a lot. And then we have a time jump right before this book, between book 4 and 5. This is book 5. We have a time jump, and then suddenly he's an adult and he's a veterinarian. He is so cute. There's a scene where the heroine walks into his vet clinic and he is literally lying on the floor and puppies are just like licking him all over the face, and he just like, Roscoe is so sweet, okay? I love Roscoe. He's the sweetest. I love him so much. And then we have Billy Winston. This is the second oldest Winston brother, but he's often mistaken for the oldest because he kind of has taken on that like father role for the rest of the Winston brothers, because when their father kind of like not skipped out on them, Bethany had enough of their dad Daryl and kicked him out. Billy kind of became like the man of the house, even though Jethro was the oldest. He had fallen into the crowd with the motorcycle gang, so Billy took it upon himself to like get a job and to help support his mom and take care of his siblings. And sometimes he's like viewed as like this uptight, not bad guy, but like he's a hard ass, and it's like all his siblings want him to relax. He has a romance that kind of spans the ages. It was a childhood crush, and you don't know what happened to them in the past until you get into like, you get like little hints throughout the series, but obviously his books explains it all, and I will get into that whenever I rank the actual like books and the stories, the love stories. And I honestly feel so bad for putting Bo at the bottom. It's not that I don't love Bo. I love Bo. He's so cute and funny, and the twin dynamic between him and Dwayne is just amazing. I love their special bond, their special relationship, and especially with the brothers that work in the auto shop, Bo and Cletus and Dwayne, it just cracks me up. I love watching them together. Cletus loves to give Bo a hard time because they're like all up in each other's business while they work all day. And yeah, anyway, I love Bo. I'm sad to put him at the bottom, but if I had to rank them, this is my ranking of them. And now to rank the actual books, the story, and how the hero and the heroine's story played out, which was my favorite and which is my least favorite in the book. This is honestly was easier than ranking them as just, you know, people, as heroes. And yeah, so my first one is the same as my first Winston brother. Beard Science is about Cletus and Jennifer. Jennifer Sylvester, you do see her in the first two books, and she is kind of like this also kind of oddity, but in a caricature way, of Green Valley. Jennifer Sylvester is known as the Banana Cake Queen. Her mom makes her dress up in these like 50s housewife gowns, like, you know, whenever you see pictures of the housewife vacuuming with pearls, that's how Jennifer dresses, and heels, and she's always made up. She always has eyelash extensions on, and her blonde hair is not even her natural hair color. She's a brunette, but her mom started dyeing her hair whenever she was younger, and everyone just kind of like doesn't think she's a joke, but kind of. And Cletus Winston is like the crafty Winston. He is a little bit devious, and he likes to kind of like serve justice in his own way. But what I love about it is that you don't expect Jennifer Sylvester to be able to like kind of stand up to Cletus's larger than life personality, his craftiness. Like, how is this girl who's very meek and very awkward in social situations, how is she going to stand up to Cletus Winston, who's a little bit devious, a little bit of a genius, and how's that going to work? Well, Jennifer has a lot of layers too. She catches Cletus doing something and she decides to blackmail him. So right off the bat, we're like, okay, so she's not what she seems. Their love story is absolutely amazing. It is a friends to lovers romance. It starts off as like, they're not enemies. She's blackmailing him, but like he never feels threatened. She's just like, okay, I'll let you think that you're blackmailing me, and you kind of intrigue me. I'm gonna see what you want. Their dynamic is amazing, and the slow transformation of Cletus viewing her kind of with pity and with empathy. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna help you, because obviously you have been under your mother's thumb. You're like 23 years old. I'm gonna help you like become your own person. And then he realizes how amazing she is and how much he wants her. I just love them. I love them so much. And they actually have a spinoff series. Oh goodness, I don't even remember the Pies. Solving for Pie? I think it's Solving for Pie. That's the new series name. It used to be the Cozy Mystery series, but somebody else took that series name. Anyway, they have a spinoff, Engagement and Espionage, and yeah, anyway. It is getting really dark in here. I'm so sorry. The sun is just like going away. My next favorite book is Truth or Beard. I love Dwayne and Jessica. It's kind of like an enemies to lovers, or childhood enemies to lovers romance. Jessica, the heroine of this book, had a crush on his twin brother, Beau. She wanted the more lighthearted, easygoing twin all her childhood. She and Dwayne were like at odds. They pulled pranks on each other, they disliked each other, and yeah, so whenever she comes back from college and she's teaching at the local high school, she's teaching math, but only enough to bide her time. She wants to go travel Europe. She doesn't want to stay in the small town of Green Valley. She mistakes Dwayne for Beau, his, you know, nicer, smilier twin, and she mistakes Dwayne for Beau, and they end up by kissing, and she really likes it. And then she finds out that, oh my god, this is Dwayne, my enemy, the one, and like, oh no, I have sparks with Dwayne. And the slow realization of Jessica, like, realizing that she knows more about Dwayne than she ever knew about Beau. And she has hung out with Dwayne way more, even though that they disliked each other whenever they were kids. It was just, oh my god, it's so, so, so good. And the way that Dwayne loves Jessica is just phenomenal. I can never get over their love story. My next favorite is Grin and Beard It. Jethro, this is like was a surprise for me because in book one, I didn't really think about Jethro too much, and then he ended up by being the second book, and once I started his book, I absolutely loved it. But from book one, we do know that Jethro kind of fell in with the Iron Wraiths, which is the local motorcycle gang, because his father was like the vice president whenever they were younger. They kind of grew up in that life, but their mother did not want them to be in it, and she tried to distance her children from that life. And Jethro was the only brother that fell into it. He used to steal cars, and then now he is a park ranger at Green Valley. His heroine, I thought that his love interest was going to be Claire. There was like some hints that they were like close and friends, and Jethro used to be best friends with Claire's husband who passed away. So I thought that they were going to be love interests, but I was totally and completely wrong. Sienna comes on the scene. She is a phenomenal plus size actress. She's famous in Hollywood. They're filming in Green Valley. She gets lost and Jethro helps her, and he has no idea who she is. He's like does not really watch movies and TV that much, and he has no idea that she's famous, and she kind of lets it slide like, oh, he doesn't know who I am. I'm just like not gonna mention it. And their love story is so beautiful. I also love how Cletus interferes in this book. It's just really funny. Whenever they're having their issues, Cletus is just like, okay, let's sit down. Tell me what you need. Like, I will be an intermediary between you two because y'all are meant to be. I just really love Jethro and Sienna. They're just super sweet, and the glimpses that you get of them later on down the line in the books, the later books, it's just amazing, especially since we have like a 5-year time jump, so we definitely get to see them growing together. And I don't want to say anything more about that, but I love the path that Jethro takes and the role that he takes, and yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I just love it. Now my next favorite in the series, it's kind of interesting because my next favorite in the series is Beard with Me, which is the first part in Billy and Claire's love story. This is exclusively about their childhood relationship. This is not them as adults. This is basically telling the story of what happened to Billy and Claire in the past when they were teenagers. 16-year-old, I think they were both 16, or Billy was 16 and Claire was 15, and they were in high school. It tells that story, and oh God, it was so good. And interestingly enough, this is their story whenever they're adults. And I like the story when they were children better. So anyway, we'll talk about that later. Beard with Me. Beard with Me tells the story of Billy and Claire. We know that they have a history. It's kind of sprinkled in throughout the series, and I'm not going to spoil anything about that at all. I'm going to be very vague, but we know that something happened. In each book, we kind of get like a clue that they haven't really talked for years. There's something that Claire just like, I don't want to talk about it. And Billy kind of looks tortured, and sometimes he's a little bit angry at Claire. We also know that Claire's not even her real name. She changed her name. Her original name was Scarlet. And I don't want to spoil anything for book one because we do see Claire in book one. She's friends with Jessica, the heroine of Truth or Beard, and you find out a lot about Claire in book one. But the history between her and Billy, that is a gradual thing. All the discoveries that happen in this book blew me away. There was some of the most beautiful scenes that I've ever read in the series. I just absolutely loved it. It was phenomenal, and it was heartbreaking at the end because we know that they don't end up together. We know that years and years pass by before they even speak to each other again. So we know that it's going to end in heartbreak, but I loved it anyway. And it definitely was not as heartbreaking for me to read because like I knew that it was going to be fixed in present day. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it was sad, but I was also like, but they're going to get their HEA, so it's okay. It's okay. Then my next favorite book is Beard in Mind. This is like the thickest one too. I was actually surprised when I got all the books for the first time in paperback that this was the longest book in the series. But Bo is the more lighthearted twin, and whenever he meets the new hire at the auto shop, which Shelley also has kind of like a crossover with the Knitting in the City series because she's the sister of one of the heroes of that series. But anyway, Shelley is a female mechanic, which I absolutely love that. And she and Bo butt heads, and it's really funny because Bo is supposed to be the lighthearted one, the one who gets along with everyone. He has a smile for anyone. He can charm the pants off of anyone. But he and Shelley don't get along. They butt heads so bad. I would consider this book a little bit more serious than a lot of the books in the series, just because Shelley struggles with something, and I don't want to spoil with what she struggles with. But she's a little bit neurodiverse, and she also has something that she needs to overcome, and plays a big role in why her and Bo don't get along at first, besides the fact that she is just absolutely gorgeous and Bo is just mad about it. But she comes off as very abrasive, unfriendly, but there's a reason why, and I just love, like, I have such a soft spot for Shelley. She's such a beautiful soul, and I love her and Bo's relationship. And once Bo comes to understand her and he gets her, it's just like, it's magical. And they also have like this car chase scene where Shelley's the driver because she's a badass. Like, all the Winston brothers are all into cars. Dwayne likes to drag race, and Bo like can drive really well too. And Shelley is a surprise. Like, she can whip it. And I've been to Tennessee. I would not want to drive around in the mountains. I live in a place where there's like no hills. So anyway, I would be uncomfortable, but apparently Shelley just whips it around town throughout the mountains, and kudos to her. I didn't even mention, I forgot that on the back of the books, they have like something that's specific to the book itself, and Shelley has this talking parrot who she rescued, and he curses all the time. So this is really funny because like, look, the little parrot. Anyway, I'll show you the backs of books whenever I'm done ranking them because I'm almost done. The next book in my list, oh no, which one? Second to last is Dr. Strangebeard. This is Roscoe's book, and it's really funny because he's one of my top Winston brothers, but his book I did not enjoy a ton, and it's because of the amount of miscommunication that was between him and the heroine. They were also childhood sweethearts. They were best friends as children. And Roscoe also is neurodiverse. A lot of the characters in this series are neurodiverse. But Simone, the heroine, really doesn't understand that about him. And it takes her a while. And she kind of deliberately withholds some information that I thought didn't need to be withheld. I just didn't understand. She gave an excuse why she couldn't tell Roscoe some things, but I thought that that was not an issue and she should have told him anyway. So anyway, I did not enjoy their book as much as I thought I was gonna like it. It was very interesting though because of the 5-year time jump. Penny Reid just kind of drops some bombs on you that happened in those 5 years and like doesn't give an explanation because a lot of it's going to be addressed in Cletus and Jennifer's books. Their spin-off series, the Solving for Pi series, happens within those 5 years. I think at least the first 3 books happens within those 5 years. So there's a lot of bombs that are dropped. It is insane. I remember reading it for the first time and I was just like, what is happening? What happened to this character? What? It was crazy. Like, one character got arrested, someone got murdered, and there was a bunch of things that happened that Penny Reid just was like, I'm just gonna drop this on you and we'll talk about that in another book. And I was like, what? So anyway, lots of interesting things happened in it. I just didn't really enjoy the romance between Roscoe and Simone, sadly. And then at the bottom of my list was Beard Necessities. the series finale. I did not enjoy the culmination of Billy and Claire's relationship. I did not like how their romance played out as adults. It fell super flat for me. I enjoyed some things that happened in the book, and I'm glad that they were together, but I think that their love story as children was 1,000 times more powerful than anything that happened in this book. When all their cards are on the table, the miscommunication gets, addressed. I just think also, I think another reason why it wasn't my favorite at all by any means in the series and just in general for a Penny Reid book, the other siblings play too big of a role in this book. They are too heavy-handed with, okay, and now you guys need to get together. And every single time Billy and Claire kind of like, they butted heads or whatever and they weren't truly getting along, the family was right there to step in and like push them back together. And it felt a little bit, I needed them to breathe on their own together a little bit more. There was just too much family, which is insane because I love the family, but I just found that it was so much contrast with Beard With Me whenever their relationship played out very privately. Everything that happened between them whenever they were children was between them two. None of the siblings were really in on it or knew anything about their relationship whenever they were children. And that kind of made it really special. So the fact that like they couldn't even talk without a Winston or one of their significant others coming in to like give advice or tell them what to do was a little bit sad. It just was just disappointing, and yeah, I'm glad they're together, but anyway. So I do want to show you really quickly the back of their books. This is Beard Necessities. The wine happens because this book is set in Italy the majority of the time. And then for Roscoe and Simone's book, which is Dr. Strangebeard, we have Top Secret, and yeah, that's because a lot of top secret things happen. FBI's there, all kind of jazz. I showed you Beard in Mind, which Shelley's cursing parrot, which is very funny. Beard With Me, Purple Heart, just kind of generic, but also it's a story about them as kids, and there's really, well, there could have been a couple little objects, but anyway. For Jethro's book, Grin and Bearded, we have donuts because Sienna absolutely adores donuts and sweets. Truth or Beard has Dwayne's racing car on the back. And Beard Science has a banana because Jennifer is the banana cake queen, which she does not like that moniker. But all right, guys, that is the ranking of the Winston Brothers and their books, 2 separate rankings. If you've read this series, let me know how you would rank their books. Which Winston brother is your favorite? Which story did you like the most? Just let me know in the comments if you've read these or not. I really enjoyed this, but like it was also super hard to like be like, oh, I didn't like this one as much, but I still love the Winston Brothers. They're one of my favorite families in contemporary romance. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe and you'll get notified on any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye, guys.